Right, Sandra is here with the business headline. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Israel. How are you doing?
I'm good.
All right, so let's do business now. Good evening. My name is Sandra S. and I'm here for business. Minister of Aviation Joseph Ada has officially launched the Ghana Civil Aviation Passenger Rights and Consumer Protection Directives. This means air passengers will now be compensated when flights are cancelled, delayed, or faced with other passenger rights issues. The new directive was launched at the opening ceremony of the International Air Transport Association Regional Aviation Forum in Accra.
This new directive by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority will help to deal with passenger rights and air operator obligations to passengers. Kofi Ada is the Minister for Aviation.
Consistent with the international treaty regimes on air carrier liability established by the Convention for the Unification of Certain Rules relating to international carriage by air in the Montreal Convention 1999. This directive covers the rights of passengers in cases of delays, cancellations, denied boarding, and baggage liability for both domestic and international flights.
The minister was speaking at the opening ceremony of the International Air Transport Association Regional Aviation Forum. Vice President Dr. Bawumia, in a keynote address, called for commitment to implement the Open Skies policy to support the continental free trade.
We need to assemble everybody to look at the implications of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which has liberalized trade in goods and services, which includes air services. We need to look at what the implications are for the Open Skies policy and the Single African Trade. That should be your next conference.
Meanwhile, Regional Vice President for IATA Africa and Middle East called for better collaboration between governments and airlines to improve connectivity on the continent. The forum was under the theme Aviation, Business for Regional Prosperity. For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
So our headline story now. The new payment and settlement system law requires telecom companies and banks operating mobile money services to have 30% local equity before obtaining a license to operate. Head of Digital Payments and Settlement System at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Seto Amedeku, says the move forms part of new regulations for the mobile money space. Here's Ebenezer Sabote's report.
Financial inclusion has increased to about 58%, with more than 31 million mobile money users transacting businesses on electronic platforms. As part of the process to move Ghana to a cashless economy, the Bank of Ghana is targeting 75% financial inclusion by 2023. Speaking on a panel on e-payments and financial inclusion at the Ghana's Most Respected CEOs Breakfast Series, Head of Digital Payments at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Seto Amedeku, revealed the Bank of Ghana will be launching new guidelines for mobile money operators soon. They'll require 30% of local participation prior to getting a license to operate as a mobile money firm.
No mobile money operator is licensed. That was why Central Bank has been saying that we were working on the law, on the regulation. Now that the Payments and Services Act has been passed, all of them are going through the processes to be licensed. And you must, I hope you are aware that in the Payments and Services Act, every mobile money operator, which is foreign, have to get a local participation of 30%. 30% have to go to Ghanaians. So, for example, if you take any mobile money operator that want a license, we need to bring in a Ghanaian investor who has 30% equity.
Chief Executive of Ghana Interbank Payments and Settlement System, Gibbs Achihese, advocated establishment of a payment council for all digital payment institutions and fintechs.
When you come to Gibbs, there are some products that we charge the banks for, and they in turn charges the customers. I think there should be a payments council where we would discuss some of the frictions that is stopping us from actually increasing usage.
Banks with mobile money departments will also be required to create a subsidiary and secure licenses to be able to operate mobile money services. Eben Sabote's report.
Consolidated Bank Ghana says it plans to employ workers who lost their jobs following the banking sector cleanup. At the launch of the bank's new tagline, "We Stand With You," Managing Director Daniel Ado said the bank plans to re-employ some affected workers once it gains its grounds. The workers reportedly lost their jobs after the re-employment exercise carried out by the management of the Consolidated Bank after assuming selected assets and liabilities of some 5 banks whose licenses were revoked by the regulator. Bismarck Awusa was at the event and has come through with this report.
Affected workers, which included both permanent and temporary staff, forms part of the total of 2,000 workers of the collapsed Beige Bank, Royal Bank, Sovereign Bank, Construction Bank and Unibank Ghana Limited. Managing Director of the Consolidated Bank Ghana, Daniel Ado, says his outfit had resolved to cut down on staff numbers to prevent undue pressure on the bank.
That exercise has gone on smoothly. There's been no hiccups. You haven't heard anything in the press, and so I would say that it's been a successful exercise. Of course, when we grow as a bank, we would also look at then adding on to our staff. But at this point in time, it was a decision that reluctantly or regrettably we had to take.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ado said the Consolidated Bank Ghana has so far paid out some 2 billion cedis to depositors, including microfinance and savings and loans companies, from bond cash it received from the Bank of Ghana.
The 2 bonds that were issued, we received the cash for 1 bond in November, another bond that was issued for the second batch of the banks. We've also received cash for it. That's why I say we're liquid. We're probably the most liquid bank in this country at this point in time. We've worked in close contact with the official receiver and the Banking Supervision Department of the Bank of Ghana to ensure that we are paying the right people, we're paying them on time. That process has also been smooth, and I'm sure you haven't received any negative feedback.
The Consolidated Bank Ghana prides itself as being the second largest bank in the country with 114 branches across Ghana. Bismarck Awusa, Joy Business.
In other news tonight, the mobile money industry experienced over 2,000 incidents of fiber cards and 600 incidents of theft, affecting over 18 million subscribers within the first quarter of this year's details, plus other local stories coming up shortly in tonight's business summaries.
The mobile industry experienced over 2,000 incidents of fiber cuts and 600 incidents of theft at base stations, affecting over 18 million subscribers within the first half of this year alone, data released from the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications has shown. The abuse of agrochemicals, as well as using untrained hands to administer these chemicals on farmlands, has been identified as a great bane to agricultural productivity, toxicity of the farmland, resulting in inadequate yields and climate-related effects. African Needs International, in a research report, advocated a strict compliance of the Pesticides and Fertilizer Act to streamline the activities of agrochemical dealers and users to safeguard the health of consumers and mitigate climate change effects. The Consolidated Bank Ghana said it has had to lay off more than 2,000 workers of the collapsed Beige Bank, Royal Bank, Sovereign Bank, Construction Bank and Unibank Ghana Limited. The affected workers included both permanent and temporary staff. The workers reportedly lost their jobs after re-employment exercise carried out by the management of the Consolidated Bank Ghana.
This continues after this short commercial break, but I'll be back after 8 p.m. where we'll be going to the retail market and still talk about issues emerging in the market.